In this video, I'm going to explain what a channel up pattern is in the stock market. On my screen here is a stock chart, and this is for Shopify. And you can see that the price bars here, they kind of fall into this upward sloping channel. And so what I did is on the stock chart here, I added some lines. These are the red line at the top and a red line at the bottom, just to kind of help you visualize what the top of the channel might be and the bottom. And so you can think of the channel as if there's a ceiling to it and a floor to it. And the way that the stock price moved during this particular period, it seemed almost like it was staying within a channel. And it was an upward sloping channel. And so you can see here, it kind of got to the ceiling of the channel and then came back down, came up here again. And it's not perfect. You can see that it kind of pierces the channel here and a couple other places. But in general, if you look, if you kind of put your head back from the screen and look at this, most of the price activity seems to fall within this channel, where each of these, the upper and the lower line kind of have the same slope. They're both upward sloping lines. And so this one it bounces here, goes back up, kind of meanders within the channel, comes back down, bounces again, goes back up. And so that's the idea. It's like an upward sloping range that the price is staying in. So that's what an upward channel pattern is. Now, how can you benefit from it? There are a couple ways. One is that if you see that the channel has been established, what you could do is try to buy near the bottom of the channel. So for example, here, this channel, the bottom of the channel is here, and so you could place a buy order somewhere down here. And so that way, basically if the price of the stock stays within the channel, then you're buying near the bottom before it makes its run back up. And you can imagine right here, if you bought, this makes this nice upward movement here, so that would have been a way to capture that. And potentially, if you're going to use a stop loss, you could set a stop loss somewhere below the channel, so that if the channel ends up breaking down, you have a point at which you cut the cord and say, okay, this trade setup is no longer working the way it was intended to, and so I'm going to cut the cord on the position. And the same is true on the top of the channel. You could use that as a point where you would short. So you could short a stock or buy put options if the price of the stock gets up to the top of the channel. So right here you could short and potentially set a stop loss up here. And then if that gets broken, then it triggers your stop loss. But if not, then you can benefit from the price going down. Now on an upward channel, shorting at the top may not give you the best odds because it's upward sloping by nature. And so even if the price does go back down to the bottom of the channel, it may not be that big of a victory. And you can see that here with this example here. Like, let's say you shorted right here with the hope that the price goes back down to the bottom. Well, so let's see, just looking at my price right here, it's around 46.20 or so, right around this zone. So by the time it does make it back to the bottom of the channel, it's $44. And there's a profit to be had there, but you can see just the distance is not that big of a distance, and it's because this is upward sloping. Even if you don't use a shorting approach on an upward channel pattern, what you could do is at least use this upper part of the channel as a basis for deciding when to sell a position. So if you bought near the bottom of the channel and you're planning, you're trying to decide, well, when do I sell it? If it does move up, when do I sell it? You could choose to sell it near the top of the channel. So the essential idea is at the top, where there might be resistance, that's where the selling occurs, whether it's selling an existing position or shorting, and at the bottom is where the buying occurs. Now, do these trade setups actually work? Does it work to buy at the bottom of a channel up pattern? That's a great question. What we do at Stock Market Guides is we look at data and give you answers using historical data. And so for example, what we'll do here is we would say, okay, with Shopify, we've identified that it's in an upward channel. Here's how many times in the past that we've seen it in an upward channel pattern, and here's how it's performed. Here's how the stock performed each of those times. And that way you know historically how the stock has performed in this particular trade setup. And that might help you to make a more educated decision about whether to take the trade, and if so, how you might manage it. So that's what we do here. If you have any questions about an up channel pattern or just about the market in general, you can contact us anytime. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.